DoW2 Hydris Chasm blue team. We've got FaHu as a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting commander, fights range by default, good at harassing and capping early on and generally pissing everyone off for the rest of the game. Soulcube alongside as a force commander, melee, offensive, decent support capabilities too though, and very versatile. Red team, we've got Storm of Iron as a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander, bunch of spells, fights melee by default. This looks like Wordbearer's DLC recolored white. PingviN rounding out the red team as an Inquisitor, offensive commander, fights melee by default, can get ranged weapons, lots of stuns and snares and crowd control. Multi-last turret going down quick time on this east side where there's 1 VP, 3 resource points along this far eastern edge too. Sentinel on the field for PingviN, decapping this natural power of blue. Can decap points but cannot cap them. Tier 1 vehicle with heavy armor. Warp Spider Exarch was trying to cap red's natural victory point, and these heretics are not capping, having forced him off. Misclick happens a lot when trying to cap points. They do start capping eventually. Storm of Iron gets some Chaos Space Marines heavy ranged infantry with decent melee damage. FaHu goes for some Banshees, always a risk versus Chaos, very nice versus the CSM in melee, but are countered well by melee heretics. East side, this multi-last turret easily flankable by this approach. Inquisitor trying to get a model loss on these Marines, might see her get Holy Brazier for a power weapon. Hammer of the Witches doesn't finish one off. Should just retreat those Marines I think, and loses a model and then retreats them. Double Guardsmen will probably both get their sergeants, one squad already has, taking them to 9 members. G.H.G is infiltrating all this stuff. Heretics get a do blast and run. Guardians grenade and run, nicely done. Banshees are going to catch these CSM, they're going to need to retreat through the Banshees now. And they do, and they're on the floor and might lose a model or two. There's a Doom Bolts, and they get away with no losses. Now the Chaos Sorcerer is in trouble in melee with the Warp Spider Exarch and Banshees. There's a sync kill. And gets another sync kill which might save. Havocs are set up to cover the retreat and he gets away with 38 points. Banshees get away with 2 losses. 454, 497, 2214 red. Devastators on the field for Soulcube, always a good choice versus Imperial Guard. Might see Katashan Devils in response, or just try and tough it out to tier 2 and a Chimera. 2 gens for red and 1 gen here. Blue have a node and triple gens. Shuriken Cannon on the field for FaHu. Has the improved warp generator, will allow him to group teleport, which is nasty with Banshees, getting him in behind stuff, in the retreat path of stuff especially. Storm of Iron has aspiring champion heretics. Very bad news for Banshees, but still has no direct way to deal with that Shuriken Cannon, which is behind an energy shield now.
It is time for support structure complete.
PingviN loses his Sentinel. Force Commander chasing Imperial Guardsman. Doing a decent job kiting him right now, PingviN, though his bolt pistol will help him take out models, and there goes 1. Heavy weapon squad for PingviN, bringing it up. Force Commander should be forced off. There's Hammer of the Witches, the starting ability of the Inquisitor, and he retreats. Was that a group teleport? Might have been, or maybe not. Shuriken. We have Sigil of the Rift for Storm of Iron's Chaos Sorcerer. A nice accessory, allows you to counter setup teams especially well. Assault Marines on the field for Soulcube. Jumps that heavy weapon squad, is now in melee and they retreat. Gonna lose a model or 2 at least.
We have lost the structure to the enemy.
Inquisitor in melee with Marines and runs away. Tactical Marines have a flamer, so these generators in big trouble. Devastator moved up by Soulcube. Doom Bolts and Havoc force off FaHu. Both sides, i.e. Storm of Iron and Soulcube, quick to move up their setup teams, which is a good idea generally. Katashan Devils are on the field for PingviN. Very versatile tier 1 infantry with shotguns, grenade launchers, and very nice melee capabilities. And we do see Interrogator's armor. Inquisitor will use that to infiltrate these Katashan Devils so they can just melee these Devastators, and there it goes. No scout sergeants to detect those guys. They can just walk up to the Devastators, and they have power weapons, so these Devastators are in big trouble. Soulcube has no idea, and he's in melee, and one model goes down in seconds. But Katashan Devils are not very quick and won't catch the others. That was a group teleport, I think you can tell, because all of the units are bunched up, forcing off Storm of Iron completely. But Storm of Iron does go tier 2 first. Warp Spider Exarch teleports in, decaps Red's natural, but the Sorcerer did take Blue's natural. Is now going to decap the wreck point, puts the Doom Bolts first. Guardians, luckily for them, were quite spread out. Shuriken Cannon firing on him, but he should be able to finish that decap, but then teleport in and tie it up as well. No, he can't, doesn't have Vestments of the Warp. FaHu, Soulcube going tier 2 about the same time, PingviN going last. Inquisitor is infiltrated. Scouts now have their sergeants, so they will see infiltrated units. Warp Spider Exarch getting shot up by double CSM, though with his improved warp generator has 755 hit points at level 1, so it's not a pushover, especially as a teleporting ranged commander. Heretics take the natural. This generator on its last legs, 5 hit points, was bashed by Banshees, I believe. Should perhaps repair it.
Adding warp generator.
Storm of Iron is tier 2, goes for some more heretics.
With his power blades, the Exarch shall deal death from either hand.
No war gear for the Force Commander. Power blades on the way for the Warp Spider Exarch. Will help him against an early Blood Crusher if it were to come. Here's a group teleport.
The Bone Singers have delivered new gifts of war.
And he teleports to Red's natural. Excellent place for the Shuriken Cannon. And starts to decap it. Where are his Guardians? They have capped this wreck point back, are now idle. Banshees have their Exarch, their Sigils of the Rift. But the Chaos Sorcerer is engaged in melee and needs to cancel that action. Exarch has her spear because they have their aspects. They're forced off by very scary sparring champion heretics, need a bit of support there. They did distract long enough for the Warp Spider Exarch to cap though. Chaos Dreadnought on the way for Storm of Iron. Assault Marines jump in, Katashan Devils was a risky jump to these power melee guys, but Scouts back up the Assault Marines and Katashan Devils retreat. Flamer Tactical Marines have flanked around, taking losses from this Inferno pistol. Very powerful ranged weapon, and Judgment has gone down on these Assault Marines. They have their Sergeant now, but need to be careful. In 20 seconds they will be able to be judged, but they force off the Inquisitor. And now Tactical Marines can burn down generators again. West side is pretty much all blue. Iron still has his power and his wreck point, and is getting Vestments of the Warp. A triple cap for blue, 323-444. Plasma Devastators on the way for Soulcube. FaHu has Warp Spiders, teleporting ranged infantry to do lots of damage to other infantry. Also have their aspect, and the Dreadnought hits the field, getting the Mark of Khorne.
The enemy is claiming a victory point.
Sorcerer retaking his natural. Here comes FaHu though. Shuriken Cannon forced off, another shield goes down. Tzeentch worship. And there's a lot of damage on that Chaos Sorcerer and he's forced off. You see the power blades giving the Warp Spider Exarch power melee. Sorry, heavy melee. Here comes the Khorne Dreadnought though. Gives it another close combat weapon, is a fearsome melee walker now. And Banshees just run the hell away. There's a Haywire Grenade which will disable that Dreadnought. CSM in a shooting match with Warp Spiders and they win it. These Guardians have perfect cover though, so they can't win that. Now go to recap. PingviN in a bit of trouble, going to lose their power. Assault Marines with their Sergeant are no joke, really helps them out in melee with Merciless Strike. Force Commander still has no war gear, still level 1 as well. Plasma Cannon set up, artillery unit, you see the range it has. Here come Double Guardsmen. Where are the Kadashan Devils? Forced off by Assault Marines. Manticore on the field though for PingviN. Heavy artillery unit. Scouts get shot to bits, just about get out of there. 323, 317. 2-1 for blue. Wraithlord for FaHu. Strange choice up against a Khorne Dreadnought. Melee Walker for Eldar can get a shoulder mounted ranged weapon. Judgment on these Assault Marines, but they retreat. Here comes the Khorne Dreadnought to help force off these Marines. Not many things in tier 2 that can stand up to this thing in melee. Here comes the Wraithlord. Has the Shuriken Cannon shoulder mounted. Havocs set up first and suppress all of this stuff, but here come Warp Spiders. Teleporting in, forcing melee and forcing those Havocs off. Here comes the Khorne Dreadnought though. It's going to be an interesting engagement. Where's the Haywire Grenade? And Blood Rage is activated, making the Khorne Dreadnought even more fearsome in melee, but you lose control of it. Haywire Grenade goes off, disabling it. Banshee's in there with the Exarch and her spear. Chisel off the rift. Mucks up the Shuriken Cannon and FaHu just retreats it, doesn't want to risk losing that thing. Blood Rage still going, Wraithlord taking tons of damage each hit. Can he take out that Khorne Dreadnought? There's a Plasma Grenade and the Sorcerer teleports everything out. One of his global abilities teleports all units to the Sorcerer. Nicely done, saving the Dreadnought. It's now getting double repaired by Heretics. And the Wraithlord also lives. More Havocs for Storm of Iron. Lost the first squad. They're in this building. 299, 285 Dreadnought on the field for Soulcube. Everyone going for a walker. Manticore Strike forces off the Plasma Devs and the Marines, but Assault Marines can cap. He should run into base and take out that Manticore, I think, but he's bashing power. Tier 3 for FaHu. Forced off blues, sorry, red's natural. CSM both get Mark of Tzeentch and a Mark of Tzeentch Havoc too. Gives it a las cannon, which is bad news for that Wraithlord. Guardian's taking tons of damage from those Inferno Bolts, fleet away. Shuriken sets up to cover the retreat. Judgment on this Dreadnought. Manticore Strike, and there's a lot of stuff bunched up here. Didn't lose any models, pretty lucky there. Scouts, well, one of them is shooting at these Katashans. Ouch. Judgment went down on the Dreadnought, I think. Assault Marines jump in, ruin everyone's fun. Las cannon on the heavy weapon squad. Khorne Dreadnought Blood Rage is gonna finish off this Wraithlord. Surely there's a grenade. And there goes the Wraithlord. Was fun while it lasted, but really couldn't stand up to this guy. And he's charging into base now. No control over it, of course. There's a haywire grenade. Ouch, a nasty special attack. And there's a Hell Fury strike from PingviN, global ability of the Inquisitor, and Storm of Iron teleports the Dreadnought out. Excellent play. These Katashan Devils infiltrated, so none of this stuff can see them unless the scouts get close enough. Out, Manticore Strike finishes off the Devastators, the plasma ones anyway. Judgment goes down on the Assault Marines. But Soulcube is going to push it. Katashan Devils make themselves known. Should be forcing melee on his Assault Marines, I think. But they take a Dreadnought close combat weapon to the face. Power Fisted Force Commander, devastating melee weapon against all targets. Gets hammered off the Witches though. Eldar forced off the west side. Still has no direct way to deal with this Dreadnought and lost his Shuriken. Here comes a D cannon. Leman Russ on the way for PingviN. Dreadnought still charging around. Manticore Strike. Didn't lose any models. Yes, he did. Lost a couple of scouts. And those tactical marines are in big trouble. Run away. Devastator covers their retreat path again.
We are losing a victory objective.
And Iron has pushed all the way back. FaHu and is capping his natural VP, and this las cannon is taking out generators for fun. Ouch, D cannon though. And there's a singularity, might finish off these Havocs. Does take a while to activate. And it's a dead Havoc squad, yes it is. Nicely done by FaHu. Saw the opportunity to wipe a squad and took it. 299156, tier 3 for everyone. Looks like Iron will be the last. Manticore Strike on the Devastators. Just realizes in time and retreats. Didn't retreat those guys though. Force Commander, does he have anything else? No, just his Power Fist. Hasn't made a push for the Manticore yet, and here comes the Leman Russ. Judgment is on something. Scouts. More generators going down. Chaos Sorcerer forced off. FaHu can try and win back some map control here. Lots of stuff lying in wait under Tzeentch worship. And FaHu doesn't have any detectors. Rangers are the detector unit for Eldar. Manticore Strike going in. All of that stuff retreated in time. Assault Marines melt a bomb the Leman Russ, but lose 3 models, maybe the whole squad, and they do. Ouch. Big loss for Soulcube. And might lose this Dreadnought. That Inferno pistol doing loads of damage. Also, Katashan Devils have their sergeant who gets a metal gun. That's a dead Dreadnought. Bad engagement for Soulcube. And it's a 1-to-1. Gonna be a 2-to-1 for red. Soulcube has the zeal for Terminators, now just waiting on requisition, which is why he's not kitting out his Force Commander, I assume. D-Cannon's setting up. Look how close they are, but they can't see any of this stuff. There's Shield of the Rift, but it's cancelled, so he can engage these Warp Spiders. Double Heretics means everything is infiltrated, even the Heretics themselves. Should get a Ranger squad, I think, would really help him out. Here comes the Khorne Dreadnought. He can't see it, now he can. And Banshees run right into it. And retreat the hell out of there. They lost their Exarch in one hit. That was a devastating singularity, good grief. Almost wiped out both Heretic squads. In fact, they are pretty lucky to get away there. But it's a full retreat from Iron. He's trying to finish off this Heretic, but can't. Or can he? Yes, teleports right into base. Might go down in retreat if this Dreadnought can catch him. No, doesn't try. 273155. Assault Terminators on the field for Soulcube have their Thunderhammers and Storm Shields and are going after this Leman Russ. Dead Leman Russ. Surely. That las cannon doing pretty nice damage to those Marines. Since they are large unit type, it gets 100% accuracy against them, and these Assault Terminators taking tons of damage. They do take out the Leman Russ, then teleport out. Cannot retreat them, but they can walk away calmly. Great unclean one on the way for Storm of Iron. FaHu might be going for an avatar, saving up a lot of resources. Manticore still alive and well. Soulcube has no vehicles, so the las cannon is slightly wasted, though it is doing a good job versus these Terminators. And in fact, they did lose a model. 273133 is a 2-to-1 for blue. Katishan Devil is trying to cat, and Manticore forces off the Devastators. Here comes the Force Commander though. Doesn't have an armor upgrade, so he's taking a lot of damage and gets hammered and might die, and does. Katishan Devils were thinking of meleeing him, but they didn't need to. Here's the great unclean one, super unit for Storm of Iron. Fights melee, hugely tough, lots of nasty abilities, and he's heading right for this D cannon. Haywire grenade on the Dreadnought, now Banshee's in melee with it. There's a big stinky cloud of flies. The great unclean one does not shower very often. This is risky for these Banshees. As soon as the Dreadnought wakes out, they are dead. Surely, no, great unclean one doesn't attack. In fact, he's mysteriously stopped dead now. There he goes. Must have been thinking of cake. Manticore strike again, right up. Manticore must have been pushed right up. Look at it. Guardsman fully upgraded with Commissar and Sergeant and Plasma Guns. And PingviN's looking pretty good. Does have Assault Terminators to deal with, which is never easy. And here they come again. 5,400 hit points with their Storm Shields. Judgment goes down on them. She needs to stay within range for 20 seconds or so, and it's a double for red. Great and clean one pushing, but here comes the avatar from FaHu. Librarian on the way for Soulcube. He just lost a unit. What was it? It was Scouts. Assault Terminators in melee with Guardsman, which is really bad news for Guardsman. But they lost a lot of health there. Must have taken the Judgment to the face. Las Cannon also nicely set up for when Terminators teleport in. Corn Dreadnought still stomping around his level 2. Blood Rage activated on that avatar. The avatar has super heavy infantry armor. Here's a Wailing Doom. Ouch. As I was saying, super heavy infantry armor takes a lot of damage from power weapons and plasma guns. You don't need anti-vehicle weapons to take him out. Sacrificial Circle is spawning Bloodletters, just causing havoc. And Warp Spiders might go down in retreat. No, no. Look at this, Warp Spider Exarch forcing melee on the Chaos Dreadnought, doing nice damage with those power blades. And this is a dead Dreadnought thanks to the Avatar. But can the Avatar make it out? Banshees whacking up the Great Unclean One, who kills one with his intestines. Foul Snare, I believe it's called. D cannon getting shots in. Banshee's forced off by this double Zinc CSM. Eldritch Storm, can it finish off the Great Unclean One? No, he waddles away. Triple cap for red, 7126 east side. Did a lot of action. Here comes the Librarian. A smite on those guardsmen will be nasty. Perhaps should have got that guy earlier. Storm of Iron floating tons of resources. And teleports the Great Unclean One back to base. These heretics should be worshipping it now, but they're not. Inquisitor takes the east side for a double 33-126. Avatar also back at base. Blue team need to move. They're taking a natural, but it's not going to be enough. It's still going to be a 2-1. Ogren's on the way for PingviN. Chaos Predator on the way for Iron. And Plasma Devastators for Soulcube. The last squad taken out by a Manticore Strike, I believe. 10 VPs left, 9 VPs left for blue team. Here comes the Avatar. Not quite up to full health. Sigil of the Rift. Banshee's in amongst CSM. That's bad news. Here come the Heretics to save them. And here comes the Chaos Predator. No mark on it yet. Banshee's back off. Warp Spider's teleported in. Haywire Grenade on that Predator, and blue team stop the counter at 3 VPs thanks to the Warp Spider Exarch, and he takes it for a 2-1. Here's a great and clean one. Manticore Strike. Predator goes down. Banshee's run. Assault Terminator is taking the VP. Taking tons of damage from these Imperial Guard. These plasma guns doing a lot of damage to the super heavy infantry armor. Kadashan Devils should be forcing melee on them. Perhaps not now with their Devastator there. Their power weapons will do a lot of damage in melee. What is this? A Singularity? It is. Will it finish off the Inquisitor? No, she has her mandate up. Avatar having a fight with the Great and Clean One. He's double Zinch doing tons of damage to the Avatar though. Great and Clean One is not attacking. There he goes and gets a sync kill on the Avatar. Whoa. Avatar taken out big time, and blue team have a single. They're going to take their natural for a 2-1. What is this? I thought I saw a mark there. I guess not. Warp Spiders take blue's natural back. Great and Clean One running riot. PingviN and Soulcube call G.H.G, but it's a 1-1. Kadashans are taking the east though, and it will be a 2-1, and blue team have lost it. Ogren's there. Will they engage the Assault Terminators for a last hurrah? There they go. Kadashan Devils take the VP, and it's a double in fact. And there we go. Cool back and forth game. Epic sync kill by the Great Unclean One there. Thanks for watching guys, I'll see you next time.